days have flown by. Ananya has a beautiful smile on her face, but I'm sure there must have been thousands and countless things she must have dealt with in these 2 days. And just these 2 days bring about such a sense of nostalgia. But here we are. Let me quickly tell you about it. This one is a trifle embarrassing to speak about, I must admit. The social venture is called Pokar. It's a registered public charitable, not-for-profit trust under the Indian laws. The aim of Pokar came in from fundamentally working in an all-women's organization all my life, which is necessity. Barring one of our young girls, the rest of the women in our team are underprivileged to the extent that they do not have men in their family. There is no father, father-in-law, husband, son, brother. So when you work with that level of women, you realize that there is a lurking insecurity all their lives. But if you band together as women, there's so much of joy that can be achieved on a daily basis. I am not saying that there are no frazzles or hassles, or people are not being pulled up, or people are not, making mistakes. But the fact is that when you have women who have absolutely no men, and they are women who brought up daughters. So the intention of the grace of the divine was in helping create a model for necessity. It was created on its own, not that I had the vision when I was so young that I'll do this. I have never had any vision in life. It has happened as it has moved on. Was that those women who are absolutely unemployable. So in today's context, it means they have no idea of English, not even of written Bangla. Bangla is quite a klishto bhasha. It's not an easy thing. And they have absolutely no exposure to tech. So computers are a very, very long way off. And if at all someone has done a course, they probably spent 5 years worth of savings on a 6-month course which was useless. So those kind of women are there with us. And having worked with them all my life, I've realized that these are the women who are in the urban space of Calcutta. Can we imagine the kind of women that must be in rural areas? A woman in Calcutta, in a slum in extreme North Calcutta, can still come to South Calcutta or in our North Calcutta unit, work for us, tell us, Didi, I'm sorry, I switch to Bangla once in a while. No, it should be so. So she may say, Didi, please, I need a place to stay in for the night. Yes, it can be arranged because we are all women, she can stay back in the unit itself. What about the woman from interior Bardhaman or interior Medinipur or interior, these are the interior districts of West Bengal. Sorry. It got switched off on its own. So how did this come about? There's a rationality to everything. Like I said, there has been no divine vision that has appeared that I can lay claim to. Before the days of online recruitment, we used to get women through little ads, advertisements in Bengali newspapers, the Bardhaman, Anand Bajar, etc. And the number of women, and we used to give a phone number and no address. This is not my fault, it's going off on the phone. I think it's around that. Can we get another one? Yes. Yeah. Let's see. If this doesn't work, we'll use that one. Thank you. When they used to call up saying that, Didi, can we have a place to stay? That was the heart-wrenching moment. They needed a place to stay. Even they have lost their batteries. Yeah, this is all green. So it is when they used to call up to say, now these were women, all of them must have been in numbers of maybe 1 or 2 from their village. The ones who dared to dream of going to wherever it need be to support, and all of them, absolutely all of them without fail were women who were wanting to work either to support an aged parent or to support a child. It was always to burn the stove at home that they wanted to work. I even contacted the West Bengal government. We are all of an age where our batchmates and our friends are now senior bureaucrats. But is there some place that people can stay? Naturally, the government is not expected to do this, at least not on one person's whim. We were told, you create a space. Now, to be honest with you, how do you create a space for women and yet keep it safe in a society like India? I do not want to be a security guard at their residence. Things like this kept happening in my mind. And one fine day, Pukar, like I said, it's a 100% not-for-profit public charitable trust. It was born with the simple mission of A, working within the boundaries of India, B, working for women and children, 3, working preferably in the spaces of health and education. Pukar is also a women's team. So we started by working a lot in Sundarban, where we contacted, we were in touch with a large number of women who needed very basic help. Slowly, Sundarban is a district which is very close by. It's a daily thing. We come in, we go in the mornings, come back in the evenings. Slowly we ventured into slightly far off districts. Let's say Purva Mednipur and Paschim Mednipur. Again, women and children. So scholarships, nutritional aid, things that are needed for a daily dignified life, attaching ourselves with groups of widows. Widows in rural India are absolutely in a very sad state because they're not productive women anymore. In a village economy, a widow is not productive. So even though she may be the matriarch of the family, she's slightly cast aside. So the hair oil that she needs, or the new gamcha, the towel that she needs, may not be on the priority list of the daughter-in-law of the family, and that's a given. So banding together with, slowly we came up and we realized that there are women's, girls' schools in rural Bengal that need a lot. Despite the Bengal government having given a midday meal and uniform and a bag and some books, we realized there was a huge gap, and we tried to fill the gap. Now let me quickly tell you something. I am from North India. I consider myself an absolute loved and adopted daughter of this land. If I can walk with my head held high, it is because of the soil of Bengal. I say it with absolute gratitude. And the one thing that I have seen when I compare the culture of North India, which is highly patriarchal, to the culture of Bengal, which is highly humane, I see this. There is a school in Purva Mednipur which is just about an hour before Digha. Digha is a very touristy seaside spot. The best and the most wonderful thing, I was so stunned at visiting that school, and then we've attached ourselves to that school, is this. For 75 years it has existed on land that was given by a few families from the village. None of them was extremely wealthy, not in the least. They weren't big jomindars, they weren't big landlords, but villagers pooled together land in India 75 years back to create what? A residential, a hostel school for village girls. My North India I don't even want to speak about it, because women must insist on keeping themselves hidden in order to be safe. Okay? Now that's not all. What's amazing was the school did not have a boundary wall. And the school is right on the highway. It's on the state highway that takes you to Digha. So whenever you guys are going to Digha, after Bajpur, just keep your eyes onto the left, you will see the school in a distance. And I asked the principal, I said, have you never had any safety issues? I mean, there's no boundary wall. She said, no, we've never had any safety issues. So here we are, when a community binds itself together and ensures that their children are taken care of, then these things happen. So schools happen to come within Pukar's fold, and of late we attempted the first ever journey into a much further area, which is Bankura and Purulia. Anunna knows about it. We were again invited by the authorities, by the district authorities, to come into Bankura and go into extremely isolated tribal areas And we visited villages. Say a village has 75 women. The village is so far away from everywhere. And the men do agricultural labor. And the women have nothing to do. I mean, how in heavens are they expected to better themselves? There is no way out. So we were told to try and do something for self-employment. Anuna is aware of it. And yes, things are working there. Let me quickly end this by telling you all, by sharing with you what is it that has emboldened Pukar to move forward. It's the fact that it was none other than the city of Calcutta and the generosity of a city like Calcutta and a state like Bengal that created a saint out of a nun. Mother Teresa could only have done it because she was it. And trust me, I have seen the most underprivileged women when they see me collecting funds is, Didi, can I also give him 10 rupees to buy a biscuit for somebody if you're going to the village? So yes, one good thing leads to another, and that is where Pukar is. Funds flowing, projects are continuing. Obviously, we have all the legal and statutory requirements that are in place, an ATG, a 12AA, a CSR need. We do not have an FCRA because somewhere within us we are wanting to do work in our own little way. And I just wish this for all of us. That yes, we are a room full of leaders. Yes, all of us have dreams. Let us simply, while there is time, while there is physical energy in the body, let us do it. Else, all we will be doing is writing checks.
Thank you so much for that inspiring start to the session. And thank you, Anuna, for having me here and for already giving a little brief of what I am representing. My name is Aprapari, and I am representing a network called Y East. Some of you may already be a member of Y East, some of you may have received a cold email from me, or some of you may have connected with Pauline. And for those who do not know this at all, I'll just give a little brief about what Y East is and what we stand for. So Y East was started in 2019 by Pauline Lahava, who's a French entrepreneur who moved to Kolkata in that year. And it's a personal story because she wanted to work in the space of sustainability in a city that she has never been to before, in a country whose culture she didn't identify at that point of time. And she realized that she faced the difficulty of finding connections. We cannot achieve any of the SDGs in a single-handed manner or just by ourselves. And that is what Y East envisions itself to be. And there are other verticals under Y East which you can find on our website, so I won't go into that. And so another interesting thing that we do is not only do we connect organizations online, we try to meticulously or religiously organize networking events every 2 to 3 months, where all of these network members can come together, meet, discuss, have a fun time in a premise. And oftentimes we have received this feedback that they feel good. They feel good that I am not the only person who's worried about climate change, or I'm not the only person who is sensitive to the issues around me. I see a room full of 50 other people who are equally passionate about SDGs as I am, and I found connections. So all of these little comments gives us more and more encouragement to build the network forward. And just plugging it in, the next Y East Mixer or this networking event is happening on 15th June. So everyone is invited. Feel free to just come over at the venue. I request Arina to share it with everyone in the room. Now I also understand that Contact Base here is trying to build a similar network of women leaders and entrepreneurs, women building the workplace being the theme. And therefore, we would like to take this session to invite a few social entrepreneurs and social businesses to come and speak about their journey, the challenge that you face, and how you think a network like a Contact Base or a Y East or experts who have built platforms like Pugar can help you in bridging those challenges. And I would like it to be a very informal session or a very open session. So please don't feel inhibited, thank you, or hesitate that, oh, I might say something that might sound not correct.
Foremost, I really want to thank Contact Base and the American Center for coming up with something so amazing for people like us who have been trying to do something, but somehow we just feel that we don't have the contacts or the right people to reach out to and move forward in life. The BWBW Girls has encouraged me and motivated me to be a bit vulnerable. So I'll probably start with my journey. So I have been a victim, right from my birth of discrimination. So I was born into a family which was affluent, which was educated, and yet there was this huge impact of socialization or the aspect of how our thought processes work, whereby I was not accepted because I was the first child of my parents and I was a girl. So they just couldn't accept the fact that a girl child was born. Second, the biggest thing was everyone in my family was fair, and to them I was black. So some of my relatives concluded that probably the baby got exchanged in the nursing home. This could not be our blood. And that's how the journey began. More than me, it was my mom probably who faced challenges, because in those days we had a TV only in one hall room. She was not allowed to take me over there because people would treat me with disgust, and that used to hurt them. When I was 2.5, my parents decided to send me over to my maternal grandmother to be raised so that I could get proper education and above all I could be away from the negative atmosphere. At that age, to be honest, I just didn't know as to what was happening. I grew up thinking even my own parents don't love me, so I hated myself. I hardly had friends, so I grew up with a huge inferiority complex, and I suffered. I still kind of, I'm trying to overcome, and that's the reason why I practice that affirmation as to I am who I am and I'm happy with it, because it's a fight. Because it's been instilled in me that I'm not worth it, Wherever I went with my family at, say, gatherings or weddings, everyone would reach out to my mother. This was the term. And I was like, am I an alien? What is happening? And then things happened. It's a long story, I won't go into that. So I got married at the age of 18. I was hoping my life will change for the better. I always longed for love and companionship and care. I was thinking that's something which I'm going to get, but unfortunately things turned out for the worst. I went through a very abusive marriage. There was physical, domestic, all sorts of violence, sexual violence, financial violence. I was 18, I was in college, I was expected to work. So I used to do an evening shift and then come back home to hear where were you effing around. So that was my life, and I did not have a single soul at that time to speak to or share what I was going through. There was no one. Even my own childhood few friends that I had, they didn't want to be in contact with me in those days. So it was tough, and then I became a mother. And when I saw things kind of affecting my daughter, and in a negative way, I just couldn't take it anymore. And it was when my daughter was 2 years old, I came to know she was suffering from a heart issue, and she had to undergo an operation. That's when I needed a lot of money. I was working in those days with JP Morgan Chase in Mumbai, and I used to earn a lot of money, but I had not a single rupee on me because my money was in my husband's control. Every day, literally, I had to beg for money to go to my own work, for my own needs. So that was my life. And when I needed money for her operation, I thought I had some gold, which was given to me by my family. And that's when I realized he sold off the gold without even letting me know. And I wanted to take back my cards from him because before my salary could come, I just wanted to make sure that it is safe. That's when me and my daughter were thrown out of the house. And but I thank God today the most for that day, to be honest, because that was like a turning point for me, because that day changed my life for the better. Because today, whatever it is, I've been able to raise my daughter single-handedly in a much more better environment. Luckily, my parents took me back, and they've been a great support henceforth. And things have been tough in terms of work as well. I've been working in the software industry in Kolkata for quite a number of years into senior management roles, but it was challenging. When the other person came to know you're a single mom or you're divorced, their outlook towards you was very different. So I had reached a point in my life where I was questioning myself as to why this is happening with me. That's where it was more of an inner calling, something telling me that you had to go through all this so that probably you can help other women from not going through what you went through. So that was the beginning of GP Foundation, Girl Power Empowerment. It's been 6 years now. We've been working with underprivileged women from certain slum areas, and mainly in central Kolkata, where we've been helping women with training them, counseling them, and providing employment opportunities. We've also been working with adolescent girls. So currently, we've been able to successfully place 45 adolescent kids who were dropouts back into mainstream education. Right now, our focus is on a project which is called Women in Plumbing. And last year, we were able to do a crash course where we trained 25 women in plumbing, and we've certified them under Skill India by the Plumbing Skills Council. So that's a project that we have, and we want to take it forward and kind of have reached out to a platform like this so that we can get support and move things ahead. So a network like this can help, say, someone like me who's into this domain just out of passion. I'm not skilled enough, is what I personally feel in certain fields. So a network like this can help me connect with the right people who can mentor me and my team. And second is GP is self-funded till now. It's just run with my own funding. So how do we go ahead and seek funding so that we can do bigger projects and better projects? Thank you.
Lubna, perhaps you can stay there till we address your. So, with Lubna, we've had this conversation before. So, I feel within a network, in terms of funding, it is something that we are envisioning, and I'm putting it out there to just make the thoughts. Oftentimes it is difficult for smaller non-profits to access grants single-handedly, and I'm also opening it for thoughts from contact base as well. Is it possible to leverage networks to access grants for smaller non-profits and help them in that way? What do you think?
Lubna, are you a not-for-profit enterprise?
We are a Section 8, but we do have our 80G and 12AG.
So for the benefit of everybody here, what is a Section 8?
So Section 8. So
there could be someone here who may want to fund you for a month.
Mm-hmm.
So tell them what Section 8.
So basically, as a non-profit organization, like there are 3 legal ways to register it in India. One is, a Companies Act. One is a trust, and one is a Section 8. So a Section 8 is basically where, to me, I went for Section 8 because somehow, I just had a very negative notion about a trust or a society for some reason, because I just felt that things, all the organizations that I collaborated, because I've been working in this field as a volunteer since a very small age, so I just feel that what they do and what they show is somewhere not in sync. And why Section 8? Because I thought it's easier and it's more transparent, and you can run it as a business. But then what happens is, in a Section 8, the profits go back into again the social impact. So, as per my knowledge,
See, the thing is, you will get a solution. Calcutta people truly give out. You have to convince them, and Section 8 is a bit of an impediment there. If you were a trust, or even if you were a society, you could have very easily, it is extremely easily to convince people, and a trust is under immense scrutiny by the Indian government these days. Ananya would know. Okay, you go mad trying to convince the government that what I'm doing is, and there's a lot of checks and balances. But now that you are in Section 8, think about it, because if you're trying to tell someone to fund you, then you're really making it a commercial venture, that fund me because I'm good. As a social venture, people and other trusts like to fund you if you're A, absolutely clearly not for profit, B, they're checking what amount of your input, the revenue received, the donations received goes towards salary and administration. The one reason people are funding Pukar clearly is because I'm leveraging all of necessities infrastructure to run Pukar. So we tell people, check our books, we don't have even 1 rupee given out as salary. So to my mind, this beautiful initiative of women in plumbing, excellent, because the world is going mad with these male plumbers who are neither good on their rates, nor on their word, nor on their skills. Women would be such a welcome change there. Perhaps you could reflect upon this and see as to whether you want to open your company to commercial funding, which is another ball game. But if you want funding from the point of view of people donating because they're a good cause, you have to convince them that it by no means comes back to you.
Okay.
Right?
We'll look into that, because see, so far it's obviously there is no salary structure in at all, because it's 100% funded by me, and the teams that I have in place, everyone works on voluntary basis.
Excellent.
We're just trying to grow.
Excellent.
So as of right now, and also we want to keep our books of accounts very, very crystal clear. And in Section 8, as far as my knowledge goes, it's way easier and there is more clarity.
You see, because you repeated the word easier the second time. It is because it is easy that people will not donate to Section 8. Do you know, I want to bring to everybody notice a very simple thing regarding trusts. Till year before last, till 2021, Pukar could give out an 80G certificate on our 80G written receipt pad to anyone we wanted to, and could make a mess and could create illegal money out of it. Since 2021, the government of India doesn't allow any receipts. Everything has to be uploaded, the smallest detail, onto the portal of the government. The government generates the receipts. So because it's tougher, perhaps people give money. So let's just think about it and talk about it.
Sure.
Through the ages of banglanatok.com, we could take these conversations further. It is, she is the person to be contacted. It is her platform, and then we can take this forward. So thank you, Lubna. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Move on to Dipika Jalan, who's the founder.
Thank you for giving me this platform. I am not a social entrepreneur, but there is some community aspect to my business as well. But I represent here a sustainable brand, that is GrowNest. And I would like to speak a little about my brand before I begin with my journey. As an entrepreneur and eco-warrior, a naturalist and a sustainable enthusiast with a dream to revolutionize the personal care segment by making use of the concept of generating wealth from waste. I am Dipika Jalan, State President of Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry Bioenzyme Council, and I am also a central member team of Bioenzyme Entrepreneurs Academy of India. My brand GrowNest harnesses the power of probiotics by using bioenzyme-based sustainable personal care products. GrowNest is not just another brand, it's a testament to our commitment to the environment and our passion for sustainable living. We take pride in being the first sustainable providing skincare and hair care range in India. In an industry that has traditionally focused on gender-specific products and stereotypes, we are breaking barriers by offering a range of skincare and hair care products that cater to all individuals. Whether you identify as a male, female, or a non-binary, we are here to provide you with high-quality products that meet your unique needs. We understand that each person has their own skin and hair concerns, and we aim to address them with our diverse product offerings. And our vision is simple yet profound. We envision a world where beauty and sustainability coexist harmoniously. We believe that personal care products should not come at the cost of our planet's health. GrowNest's innovative solution lies in harnessing the power of bioenzymes. And I would like to speak a little bit about bioenzymes, what they are. Bioenzymes is a fermented liquid that is created out of wet waste that is generated from each household. So it enables segregation of waste at source, basically. So what sets GrowNest apart is our commitment to promoting waste reduction and landfill diversion. By utilizing the kitchen waste to generate bioenzymes, we not only offer a powerful multi-purpose solution for all skincare, hair care and planet care, but also contribute to a healthier environment. Now talking about the journey, how GrowNest, how I happened to set up GrowNest, because I personally also had a lot of challenges. Being from a commerce background, I was not a biochemist, I did not have a background in science basically, and I live in a very joint family right now too. And people were really averted to the concept of waste segregation, especially in a society that I live in, people are not consuming things mindfully. So there is no conscious living as so when I started waste segregation and composting and other sustainable practices, people used to call me, "Kya kar rahi ho? What this kachra ye kyun collect kar rahi ho?" All that. So they could not resonate with my thoughts, why I was doing it and why it was important. Because I always used to tell people that don't carry your own bag, carry your own bottle. Even I am carrying my bottle today itself because I don't like to drink out of a plastic bottle. I carry my bag everywhere. So whenever there was anything that was bought in a plastic bag at my place, I was like furious every time because I could not help it, and I could not make people understand why I was not liking that. They used to think ki isko pasand nahi hai. That is why, because I could not make them understand what is the reason behind it. So but then when I joined WICI, Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and when they established a separate council for bioenzymes, that's a national council, and I represent the state here for West Bengal. I I got a lot of help, and I was able to overcome a lot of challenges. The first thing was I got emotional support from like-minded people who were in the same field, because I found out that there were so many people who were working in the field of environment, and they were also equally, they could resonate with my my thoughts and things. So it was like a sisterhood for me. And sometimes financial support too, because they also helped me identify my customers and how I could build my brand. And also apart from that, there were various events where we could socialize and we could connect with each other. So that is how networking helped me, and also in some digital marketing platforms. And now being the state president of this, I feel that there is a huge potential in networking, whether it be contact based or East or Wiki or any other kind of networking platforms, because it's very important for women to connect with each other. Because connecting helps you go places. Because you see where I am today, I am not from a background from whatever I'm doing, but still I am traveling and I'm meeting people and I'm so happy about it. I would like to end with the quote from Ziegler is, you can have everything in life if you want, if you are willing to help other people enough what they want from you.
So much, Dipika, for sharing your experiences and how you've grown with the network. Because I guess we only have 15 minutes for the panel, I'll move on to the next speaker. That's an interesting perspective where she mentions how networking has helped grow her business. So people who want to connect with her to understand more, please feel free and reach out to Dipika. I'll next invite Manjuara from Aprapari. Please. The podium is yours. For the sake of time, let's limit the conversation within 5 minutes so that the next person can get a chance.
Namaskar, hello everyone. I am Manjuara Mullha, founder of Aprapari. Aprapari, whose meaning is we can. Aprapari is a collective of rural women artisans that was created during COVID-19 pandemic as the way of sustainable livelihood. We are trying to modernize the age-old traditional Katha stage and bring it to commercial platform and ensure the gender justice to economic independence. Actually, I am not comfortable in English. Which language is better for everyone?
You can speak in Bangla and we'll translate.
She is from Assam.
Yeah.
Hindi.
Hindi?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll translate.
বাংলা বলতে পারি অসুবিধা নেই ঠিক হ্যাঁ তো Aprapari স্টার্ট হয়েছিল 2020-তে যখন সারা বিশ্বতে প্যান্ডামিকে হয়েছিল তখনই আর তখন আমাদের আসামে বড় ফ্লাড হয়েছিল তো আমি বেসিক্যালি উমেন রাইট অ্যাক্টিভিস্ট ছিলাম তো ওই হিসাবে আমি চরে যাইতাম তখন রিলিফ দেওয়ার জন্য 2020-তে তো যখন আমরা রিলিফ দিতে গেতাম তখন নৌকাতে যাইতাম তারপর আমরা একটা প্ল্যাটফর্মে রিচ প্ল্যাটফর্ম ধরেন 80 ফিট বাই 80 ফিট একটা প্ল্যাটফর্ম ওইখানে 700 to 800 পপুলেশন আছে 300 to 400 এনিমেলস আছে ওইখানে প্রেগন্যান্ট উম্যান এডোলেসেন্স গার্লস এজেড পারসন এন্ড ফিজিক্যাল হ্যান্ডিক্রাফট সব একসাথে আছে কোনো কোভিডের নিয়ম কানুন নাই তো এরকম যখন রিলিফ দেওয়ার পরে আমরা ঘরে বাড়িতে চলে যাই তখন মানে একটা বড় নিঃশ্বাস নিয়ে ঘরে যায় নেক্সট ডে সেম রিলিফ দেওয়ার জন্য অন্য শহরে যায় শহর তো জানেন রিভার আইল্যান্ড সেম কন্ডিশন তো অনেকগুলো প্ল্যাটফর্মে আমাদেরকে কাজ দেন তাহলে আমরা যদি ঘরে বসে বসে কিছু ইনকাম করতে পারি তাহলে আমাদের একটা সলিউশন আসবে কারণ আমার এখন হাজবেন্ড গুলো মাইগ্রেন্ট লেবার ওই জায়গার তো সবাই চলে আসছে তো যখন তাদের হাতে টাকা পয়সা থাকে না তারা ডোমেস্টিক ভায়োলেন্সের ইসে করে তারপর ছোট ছোট যেগুলো মেয়ে আছে তাদেরকে বিয়ে দিয়ে দিছে তো চাইল্ড ম্যারেজ হচ্ছে তো এরকম অনেকে শেয়ার করে তারপর আমি যখন রিটার্ন হই বাড়িতে তখন আমার ঘরে দুটো হোয়াইট বেডশিট ছিল তো ওই হোয়াইট বেডশিটে দাদা আমার নানি তারপরে আমার মা যেভাবে কাঁথা বানাইছিল সেম ওইভাবে কিছু মডার্নাইজ করে আমি কাঁথা বানালাম রেড কালারের সুতো দিয়ে তো ওটা আমি সবার সাথে শেয়ার করলাম শেয়ার করাতে ফেসবুকে শেয়ার করলাম আমার অফলাইনে আমার ফ্যামিলি কলিগ সবার সাথে শেয়ার করাতে হ্যাঁ একটা বিজনেস মডেল হতে পারে তারপর ওইটা আমি 15,000 টাকা দিয়ে আমার নিজের থেকে ইনভেস্ট করে আমি এক থান বেডশিট আর সুতো বেজি এগুলো আনে 10 জন মহিলাকে ট্রেনিং করাই 10 জন মহিলা ট্রেনিং করানোর পর যখন আমি ওটা ফেসবুকে দেই তো আমার একটা মেন্টর ছিল হিউম্যান রাইট অ্যাক্টিভিস্ট উনি নাম দেয় উইকেন Aprapari যেটা নাকি আমি আমাকে সবাই মানে ভাবে যে যেগুলো শহরের মহিলাগুলো যেগুলো গ্রামের মহিলা ওইগুলো কিছু করতে পারে না তো আমরা নাম দেই উইকেন আমরাও পারি আর ওইভাবে নামটা দেওয়া হয় তারপর আমরা সবাই ভালো রেসপন্স করে তারপরে দেখলাম যে প্রথম অবস্থায় যখন কাজ শুরু করি তখন মহিলাদেরকে বাইরে আনানো খুব ক্রিটিক্যাল ছিল সবাই বলছে যে আমাদের মিয়া বাসায় এরকম বলতো হ্যাঁ খেতা শিলাইয়া ভাত খাবো এটা মানে একটা বাহানা তো এইরকম বলতো সবাই যে এটা একটা বাহানা আর কিছু না এটা মানে মহিলাগুলো একজোট করার একটা কৌশল চলছে এরকম বলতো তারপর যখন ওই মহিলাগুলো আর্ন করতে নিল পয়সা পাওয়া ধরলো, তখন থেকে দেখা গেল যে হ্যাঁ ওইগুলো যেটা নাকি সোশ্যাল নর্ম ছিল অনেক বেটার হয়ে যাচ্ছে। তখন মহিলাদেরকে ডিসিশন মেকিং এ ক্ষমতা দেওয়া হইতো, এখন হয়। তারপর আপনার চাইল্ড ম্যারেজ হচ্ছে না, এখন ডোমেস্টিক ভায়োলেন্স হচ্ছে না। তো এখন ওই মহিলাগুলো 10 জন মহিলা থেকে স্টার্ট করছিলাম, এখন 100 মহিলারা কাজ করতেছে। তো প্রথম অবস্থায় যেগুলো আমরা খালি বেডশিট বানাইতাম, তো ওই বেডশিট গুলো প্রথম আমরা সোশ্যাল অপশনে দিয়েছিলাম। তো একটা বেডশিট সেল হয়েছিল আমার 50,000। তো তারপর আমি প্রথম বছরে 10 লাখ টাকার বেডশিট সেল করছিলাম। তো ওই কোভিড এর সময় ছিল, তো কোভিড এর সময়ের জন্য মাস্কের ডিমান্ড অনেক হইতো। তো প্রথম বছরে আমি 20,000 মাস্কের অর্ডার পেয়েছিলাম। একটা হসপিটালের থেকে পাইছিলাম 12,000, আর অন্য অর্গানাইজেশনের থেকে পাইছিলাম 8,000-এর মতো। তো হসপিটালের যেটা হলো আমার মহিলারা, ওরা যারা কন্ডিশন আছে তারা নিজেরা ডেভেলপ করতো, এখানে রশিদ দিত, নোসওয়ের ইউজ করতো, এভাবে মানে নিজেরা ডেভেলপ করে হসপিটালে দিত। তো এখন এভাবে প্রোডাক্ট ডেভেলপ হয়েছে। তারপরে 100 মহিলারা কাজ করতেছে। এখন দেখা যাচ্ছে যে মহিলারা যখন কাজ করে বাচ্চা হাজবেন্ডে রাখে, কুকিং হাজবেন্ডে করে, যেটা নাকি আগে কোনোদিনও পসিবল হইতো না, কোনোদিনও দেখি নাই। তো আর এখন আমরা অনেক সময় অনেক মানুষ মানে ইন্টার্ন আছে আমার, এখন জাস্ট আমাদের অন্য দেশের মেক্সিকো, কুয়েট, সাউথ আফ্রিকা, 3টা দেশের থেকে ভি ইউনিভার্সিটির 3টা স্টুডেন্ট আসছিল। তো ওদের সাথে যখন শেয়ার করে যে ওরা জিজ্ঞাসা করছিল যে আম্রাপাড়িতে কাজ করে আপনার কি বেনিফিট হয়েছে, তো ওনারা বলছিল যে হ্যাঁ এটা বেনিফিট হয়েছে, আমরা আগে 50 টাকা দামের ব্রা কিনতাম, এখন আমরা 100 রুপিস টাকার ব্রা কিনি। তো এরকম মানে যেটা নাকি আমি ভাবি যে যদি আমি জেন্ডার ইকুয়ালিটির কথা চিন্তা করব, তাহলে আমরা আগে ইকোনমিক্যালি ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট হতে হবে। আমার উদ্দেশ্য ওইটাই ছিল যে ইকোনমিক ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স জরিয়াতে জেন্ডার জাস্টিস সমাজে আনা, এটাই আমার উদ্দেশ্য ছিল। তো আশা করি আমরা সবাই একসাথে সাথে আমার জার্নিটা চালাই নেওয়ার জন্য হেল্প সবাই করেন। তো এটাই আপনাদের কাছে আশা। থ্যাংক ইউ।
I am not translating right now. Let's finish with the other speakers, and for those who wanted a translation, we can talk about this right after. But a very inspiring story. Thank you so much. I will invite Manjulika Majumder from Sumpun Foundation, another
Contact for giving me this opportunity to talk about my organization, a little bit of myself. So when Lubna was talking about her life, exactly similarly the same thing happened, you know. When I was a child, we were in a joint family, and we had a very educated family, well cared for. That part was absolutely fine with me. But when I got also early marriage, so I got married at the age of 18. And later I realized that I got married with a person with autism and high functioning autism. That much later in my life I realized, but not when I was at 18 years old, no. So same thing, that a lot of issues with domestic violence, and I was not able to complete my education. A lot of things in between. I went to US and with him because he went, so my family and others pushed me there. So ultimately what happened that my son was born there, and I have to come back. I didn't have any choice because I couldn't take it. When I came back here, I started again my education and everything, and he also came back at that moment. He said, no, you have to live with me. And I tried for at least 10 years in that, that it's a period, and it was so much painful that still I understand now that why he was like that, and I accepted that. I don't have any feeling for that now. I'm out of it, but I understood that that I can't take it anymore. That oppression, not giving me a money to have, not every time having lot of that talk about going out with somebody, having a lot of things, So it was mentally and physically, it was just a breakout point for me. And one day I thought that I have to stop all these things and I have to just, I have to take my life out. And when I just about to, take that step, that my son went into the next door neighbors, and she just came, she just ran to me, and she said that she had a son of cerebral palsy. And she said that, Manjulika ji, that you have a light end of the tunnel, but look at us, we don't have. So start thinking about us, stop thinking about you. And that moment, the whole life changed. He took me to Indian Institute of Cerebral Palsy, and from there onwards, it was 90, and from there onwards I started taking there, I did my B.Ed from there, and I started working there. My mentors were excellent, I can say. Because of them, I'm here today. If you do not actually teach the parents how to bring up their children, maybe whatever they are, maybe they are the children with autism, maybe they are the children with learning disabilities or any kind of a physical disability, you cannot change anything. So from there onwards, I started working with the parents. That IICP had a wing, they called it a PIP, Parent Involvement Program. I was heading for that for many years. I worked there. Eventually, I moved out, and from 2007, I started working on myself on my own. And in 2017, we got our company. This is also a Section 8 company, because that my son and one of his friend, they actually suggested to have this because of the transparency of the accounting system. So we decided to have this company, and at that time we I think from 2015 we started building on a course where actually we are teaching the parents that how to look at a child and what are the soft skills they need to actually inculcate within themselves to look at the child's problem and not to think about the child with autism, or my champagne works with children with autism and learning disabilities. And we are teaching the parents. Also now we are also doing the same thing with the teachers, that not to look at the child, that child cannot do anything. We always look at the child, that what are the problems the child is having, and why these problems why these problems are there, and how to solve these problems. So we come up with a strategy where actually we are teaching the parents to inculcate the skills to solve the problems. So we run two programs. One is that we are working with children one-on-one and also in a group. And the other one, the course we have developed, we have it's a 24 hours course, and we are actually teaching parents, teachers and other community members who are interested we are teaching them how to actually bring up their children. So,
Question to you is how can a network help the organization?
if everybody feels like that they have their school as a parent, if they want to learn this course, this will be a huge help for us, that we can teach them. And gradually, what I think that Kimberly already talked about, the soft skills, the same thing we are actually teaching our children as well as our parents. How to manage stress, how to communicate effectively, how to focus on things, and how to prioritize, and then that to be a good relationship, manage stress management, everything we are teaching in that way. Okay. Any? So if anybody is interested, we are there, and it's a 24 hours course. We can actually teach them, teach anybody how to go about it. It's a skill building. It's our skill building. So what we found in our journey that most of the time the parents, they do not have those soft skills. So automatically what happens that they cannot transfer those skills to their children or anybody. Thank you so much.
Who is the director of the American Center, Kolkata, and also the PO of US Consulate General, Kolkata. And we have been really supporting building of the network. And we had very good discussions, and all of us have agreed that we have a lot of work to do. So we would like to invite you and share your perspectives on networks, because as in your long journey in public diplomacy, I think you know the value of networks. So some words of advice for us, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am really, really delighted to be here this afternoon. I unfortunately have been able to spend as much time down here as I wanted to, but beginning with yesterday's morning session and ending up with some of these very inspiring stories this afternoon, I'm a little intimidated to come up here. These are really powerful stories and some great advice. So I don't know about giving advice, but I do want to first of all say thank all of you for being here. We really, really appreciate the active participation, the very candid sharing, and the willingness to network and to stay in touch with one another. Because as Ananya says, that is one of the main tools that you'll need as you move on in life with your ventures, is to have this support network all around you. A couple of things that I heard yesterday that really, really stuck with me. One of the speakers began with the lovely phrase, my only point of frown, which is just, I'm going to steal that. But her only point of frown, as she looked out over the very impressive and large group yesterday, was that there weren't more men present. And I couldn't agree with that more, because a lot of the ideas behind women's empowerment doesn't come from you. You all know what the right thing is to do and how to do it. It comes from the men and from particularly the boys to naturalize and normalize the concept of women's empowerment, women's participation. A long time ago, when my parents lived in India, the first time I was sent to a boarding school in Scotland, which was all male. And you can imagine the kind of sort of semi-savage behavior that went on there. It was pretty terrifying and not far removed from the caveman but the second year I was there, they introduced women. And the civilizing effect that had was absolutely fantastic, mainly because nobody wanted to be described as a caveman, and so started behaving in a way that might ingratiate them to women. So I do think that breaking the gender stereotypes at a very early age by just normalizing interaction and exposing one another to each other's talents and weaknesses and how we can work together is incredibly important. And as the CG said yesterday, it's not only the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. I mean, if you fully empower and include women in the economy, it will increase GDP by $12 trillion. I mean, that is an incredible sum. So gradually, bit by bit, society will realize that it's not only the right thing to do, but you can make a bit of money off it as well. I'm really lucky. I've always been in an environment where women have succeeded and risen to the top. In fact, most of my good bosses, some of my worst bosses have been men, because they throw around authority like schoolyard bullies, and that not only makes you a bad boss, but it makes you somebody nobody really wants to be around. So leading from authority is not going to get you any places, and all my good women bosses have been better diplomats, have been very tactful, have been good at putting teams together, identifying weaknesses and strengths, and compensating and putting people in the right places with the right teams. I was going to make an excuse about being jet lagged, but two American guests who have been here and are very, very bright and bubbly will put me to the lie. So I'm doing great too. I was not wandering the streets of Kolkata at 3:30 this morning, and found myself at the gym at 3:50. Anyway, the reason for that is I just got back from the States, where I was lucky enough to see two of my sons graduate from universities. And just a couple of stories from that I don't think have anything to do with this, but I'm going to pretend that they do. The youngest son graduated from North Carolina State, and it was the graduation of the engineering department. And I promise you, I felt as if I were in Kolkata. I think 90% of the graduates were from India, and all the aunties and uncles were there, and everyone was in saris. And coincidentally, I was wearing a waistcoat that I'd been given in Nagaland. It caused a great deal of confusion, but it was a really, really beautiful sort of sign that the work that we in the US government have been doing over the last couple of decades to bring more students to the United States, and for the Indian students while they're over there to sort of, again, culturalize and broaden the horizons of the American students was great to see. And the other thing that happened was we then went to my son's graduation. He was in the international policy school, and they called up the top 10 students from their class. And number 1 was a woman, number 2 was a woman, number 3 was a woman. It went on. Number 9 was a woman. And oh my God. And finally, number 10 was a guy from the Punjab. And he got booed because they wanted to be a clean sweep of 10 women. But yeah, right, I've got nothing to tie that back to this. The network system that you were talking about really is a core way of how you should approach every day. Check in with your peeps, with the people who can help you, give you advice, with whom you can bounce ideas off, with whom you can connect. The CG, I'm sure, mentioned she's obsessed with LinkedIn, and she uses it, and she's made extraordinary connections through LinkedIn that have benefited us as a consulate, but also the bilateral relationship. So wherever you can find a network, use it, and keep in touch with people, because the world out there, you need allies, you need a safety net, you need walls off which you can bounce your ideas. I just want to finish off by saying that the US government is really committed to promoting entrepreneurship and female empowerment internationally. We work on a lot of other policy matters here as well, but in Kolkata we've been very focused on women's participation and empowerment. And we've got a lot of very diverse programs, including this one, the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, and something called the Regional Support Network, which also works with folks from Bangladesh, Nepal, and India. So we are very focused on this, so that's why we're so happy that you've all been here for these 2 days. As I mentioned, the short time that I've been here, I've been so impressed with just the sheer caliber and strength of personality and determination here. For those of you who've never been to the American Center before, and I think it was probably yesterday and it was about half, this is what we do here. We're not here as Americans to lecture and to tell you we have all the answers and this is how you should do it. We just put the right people together and get the hell out of the way. And it really seems as if that's what you all have been doing for the last couple of days. So with that, I will go back to wandering the streets aimlessly in search of sleep. But I do want to thank our 2 US guests, Kimberly Moore and Anisha Salisbury. I'm looking forward to, speaking of Nagaland, traveling with you tomorrow to Dimapur. Maybe get another vest to further confuse people. But we really appreciate you for coming all the way over here and for providing your valuable insights and your guidance. Very welcome. And thank you, of course, Ananya. We have had a long and fruitful partnership with Contact Base. We love working with you all. We know that if we're doing something with you, it's top quality, and you haven't disappointed again. And finally, to my team here at the American Center, y'all still rock it. You've all made the trains run on time, and Bobby Lee, another one. You've done another tremendous job here, and you've been doing this while planning the next one, which is happening tomorrow in a place far away. So again, I just want to say thanks to all of you. It's been great having you here, and I really hope that you've taken valuable lessons from here, and please stay in touch. Okay? Thank you.
Here's some story of the family issue. My previous speakers. I don't face that. I am the third girl child of my family. But my parents always proud for that. They have the 3 girl child. So it is a pleasure for me. After my electrical engineering, and prove it is wrong because I don't take chamber job. My first job is repairable job in Exide is battery. I got chance to R&D section. I get the R&D and take the flight to promote me in service field. After that, DVC is a contractual base, and then come factory where I am operating 300%. 300 general typical quote unquote people chilling. They are first day when I got in the factory, and they think that one lady operated us. Chalo dikhate hai isko. I faced block, and I remember one story. One person, one of them is a garment manufacturing plant, and this is a sequence of the machines. There is the first dryer, then cleaner, then so many machines. One of the middle machine, they bigar kar rakh diya tha. And as an engineer, I found that how can I repair it? Because if the production is not going on, my boss give me a golden kick next day morning. This is a very head for me. रात 3 बजे तक काम किए हम लोग, मैं और मेरा टीम, electrical team. After that, I go to take a shower and go to my restroom and think क्या करना चाहिए. मैंने उठाया, मेरा जो दोस्त था, उठ, वो जो मशीन मैन है ना, उसको कॉल कर. अनुज को कॉल करा अभी, मैं लेडी हूँ अभी 3 बजे कॉल नहीं कर सकती. Are you call that and say in the morning 9 AM we need the machine is on. उसने बोला कुछ खाया पिया नहीं, पागल हो गया, सो जा. वो कैसे ठीक करेगा? हम लोग इंजीनियर होकर नहीं कर पाए. हम बोले तू कॉल तो कर ले. Are you make the call at first and I do it. उसने बोला ठीक है चलो कर लेते हैं. In the morning I will say added some quoted word. We give him this rupees, some rupees for the 2 bottles and other thing they can purchase for that, and then I need the machine 9 AM is for on. In that time case I don't normally I usually I in the plant and floor, but that day I kept myself in my chamber, and my chamber is the glass chamber, and I wait for that. When the machine is on, 9 is not. It's my tension time because my boss is come and give me the golden key. And 8:55 machine is on, and I take that. Okay, चल पैसा तो pocket से जाएगा. लेकिन after that, so many times, because when they are familiar with me, I ask this guy, how can you do that? इतना बड़ा मशीन से क्या निकाला था यार तुमने? जो इंजीनियर इतना हम लोग लगकर भी से नहीं कर पाए. He say me, please come with me. He just get a small nut and bolt from the machine, and which is not our cup of tea. So this type of is not harassment. It is a ragging period. I am faced all time with my colleagues. After 14 years service, one day I find an ad in the paper. It's like Ananda Bajar. Some entrepreneurship program is going on the MSME. Now, what is the entrepreneurship and what is the MSME? In that day, in 2017, I don't know these 2 words. Then okay, chalo. Actually, I am the learner. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि learning is the process. So after my on the time of the job, I am going the so much learning session. PLC पढ़ा है, ये करा है. The learning is the best process for the build to oneself. So okay, I go to my office and say my boss, I can get leave. Actually, I don't take any leave. He will say, okay. Actually, I say that I am taking leave. They know that I am taking leave for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because I am going to some place, take my oxygen with my friends and घूमने जाना है. तो हमने बोला I am taking leave. He will say, okay. I am saying 1 month leave. What is? Are you joking with me? Are you take 1 month leave? Are you a deputy manager of my company? Then how can I handle the work? I am going to say, okay. My class is 10 to 5. And after that, I promise to you, I get the work. Because so many times, 2 बजे 3 बजे तक भी हम काम किया प्लान पे. I don't take any preparation of that. Well, how do I know? He will say, actually, जो मुझे जानते हैं वो जानते हैं कि if she is thinking that I can do it, अगर नहीं देंगे तो खुद काम को छोड़कर भी जा सकते हैं. तो he say me, okay, you can get, okay. So in that case, I get the awareness program, MSME, and I take the entrepreneurship learning. Every day, charge me say 5, 10, and 15% to going up. When not, I set up my organization. सबके लिए कर रहे हैं, हमके लिए भी, खुद के लिए भी कर सकते हैं. In this point, I can take that decision. But not, what is the my right direction? I find that, and that time I say write in the Google, and Google they give me the awareness that upcoming days solar is the upcoming boom market. So it is most equal to the electrical and solar, and choose I take the solar course also, because I am say that if you have the passion and you convert in the entrepreneurship, please do a course, because the course gives you the more core details and it can survive you your business so easily. So this is the job angle. In the case of the when we start, we are targeting the only domestic purpose, domestic audience, because the giant is the here for the big players. So after that we started the work. I get a tender from BPCL, and it is again interesting story as a woman entrepreneur. When we are vendor registration done, second day after my work is come, I get that L1 and paper work will done. Then second day one call is from the plant engineer and say me can you send me a signed Aadhaar card, ma'am, right now? Well, okay. I can scan it and back to them. Next day, evening, he will call me and say, "Are you don't ask me why I want that?" I don't know. If you need that, उसने बोला नहीं. Actual after the work, 10 months we can everywhere project we can give the 10% and security for the 1 year. Government give me back within 6 months this security money because I am a woman entrepreneur. First time I get the benefit from the I am a woman entrepreneur. I get back that rupees so easily. Recognition always give the motivation and also give a battle to again do a good job. I am the international award winner of standard entrepreneur. BCCI give me the 3-time awards. So it is a opportunity to do that. It is an opportunity as per Shoini ma'am. We are complete by our engineering and go to the IT sector or cabin job. I approach all women. If I can do, you can also do. Just come forward and take the baton. We can do together. And last of all that, internship also a part of that. We are provide that. So, forum I can want to network. If anyone need the solar facilitation, I am always there because we believe that not rooftop or not standalone system solar solve. If when you give a switch and operate something or you use in a jar any fuel for the any kind of the product, then it can be easily moved with the solar also. If you get the opportunity, it's better as a trainer or mentor, I can take that opportunity.
Let me first thank Anana and the Contact Base and the American Center for giving me this opportunity to network furthermore with old friends and new friends. I think for the last 2 days, two things I think has been covered, although I missed 1 or 2 sessions yesterday. Is that about entrepreneurship, the basic of entrepreneurship, how to make profit, access to finance, access to market, how to strengthen your product, which is very important for any entrepreneur, and also the network, which I really like because Bangladesh Women Chamber of Commerce and Industry, when I formed, I remember that when we were trying to see that women entrepreneurship grows in Bangladesh beyond micro, that time a network was important, and that network was through Chamber of Commerce, where women entrepreneurs are coming together, learning from each other. And I remember one of our member, when she became a member, and she was leaving our office, and she came to me and she said, today I'm feeling so good that, and I'm feeling so confident that I'm not alone anymore. Because with the network, you can lean on your problem, share, and sometimes for women, there are lots of things which you can share with another woman. Sometimes it's not that the men doesn't understand or we cannot lean on the other men, but they don't. The problem which we face, sometimes they never faced it. So they sometimes don't understand our emotions. So that's why this network is always important. And from the Bangladesh Women Chamber, we have seen that business also started, because I have seen that the members who are having showroom, having boutiques, but when she is meeting a Katha stitch, producer, she's buying product from her, or someone she's doing stitching, someone is doing the finished product. So one is ordering. So amongst the member, the business has started. So network also help not only to give moral support or emotional support or the development support, but the business started. The problem with the network is that when we are together, we are very much energized. But when we go back to our own life or with our own businesses, we have so many issues, especially with women, that sometimes we don't continue the network. And when we do discontinue it, I think that is not good. Because how much, so my advice will be that whatever we have done these 2 days and whatever the connections we made, it should be continued. Because that continuity will bring benefits for everyone. So, and I wish everyone good luck, and also thank you all for giving me and making me so special and memorable. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank Contact Base and especially Ananya and Arina for that kind hospitality that you gave to us. It remained as a memory for us, and there are lots of things to take away from here. Actually, we got lots of opportunity to learn, share what we have been doing, and as I told you earlier, I have lots of things to take away to my home country and share to my fellow entrepreneurs. Yeah, we too are here, but we are definitely gonna share what happened here to them, and we share what learnings we take from here. And so what I believe from these 2 days is, I just remembered 4 C's. That is connect, that is what we have done here, and communicate. Now we need to communicate. We have connected to each other, and we can't stay just like that. Do communicate. So we'll be definitely communicate with you all, and we'll be coordinating. Do coordinate, and then continue this network to get something special for you and for us. And I would also like to thank Ednesa and Mure for your wonderful presentation that were really special for us. And I would like to thank the American Center for giving us this space, very wonderful and cool. When you go out, it's so hot, and you come here and you don't feel like going out. So after 2 days discussion, I found that the challenges are similar to every one of us, only the extent is smaller and bigger. So we can do it together, we can do it. So I reiterate that let's do it together, let's connect, let's increase our network and coordinate, and let's do what we can do, and we can intervene with it and support, because we met you all here and we saw the products, and there are lots of potential that we can do something for each one of us. So like our Niru ji said, that we do conduct international trade expo, so you are most welcome to participate in the event and showcase your products. And similarly, if you have anything, please do invite us. We are always ready to come here with our other fellow entrepreneurs. The way forward from these 2 learnings, what I found is that we can connect with We Connect International to grow and to meet with all the entrepreneurs who are here in Kolkata and also within this region. And another thing is, we definitely have to have good relationship with Contact Base. You are doing great jobs, and similarly we are also doing, the works are similar. So we can do together, share, learn, and we can even we can even plan, we can even do, we can just I'm so excited, so we can you can do the best practices. I was going to tell the best practices what we have learned here, heard here, we can just use them in our home country. That will make you more better and improve you all. So with that, I would like to thank each and every one of you for having us here and taking good care of us. And thank you once again, and have a very good evening.
Swati, would you like to close the session?
With that, I would like to call our President Niru Raimaji Khatri to acknowledge Ananya and contact base. We have a small gift from our country, so I would like to call you here.
Well, it wasn't intentional. So, to those who have started their enterprises, please remember that as long as you continue to irrigate it with your passion, there is not a chance that you will fail. But the moment you try to do something from the point of encashing it a few years later, then you're in this big, bad, wide world where commerce is really a jungle. To give you a simile, as women, I don't know whether women would conceive in order to abort. So remember that, please. This is something I've experienced all my life. I'm not in the encashing game. I'm in the healthy game. I want my enterprise to be healthy, the people in it to be healthy, my products to be as healthy as possible within the revere a saint, a doer, a man of action called Swami Vivekananda. You must have heard of Vivekananda and his address at the Parliament of Religions at Chicago way back in the late 19th century. Okay, so he had said this, that men and women are like two wings of a bird, and without either, the bird ceases to remain a bird that can fly. So to all the older women here, we are going to get nowhere. We have not got anywhere by waging a war. To me, a woman is like a river which flows all its life and smoothens the sharp stones which lie in the bank of the river. So let's remember to continue on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, to sensitize men around us. And when we do it with persistent care and love, there's a great chance we'll be able to do it. Because none of this is going to work if that other half of the population is not with us. So if those of our contemporaries don't listen, we work on the next generation. And frankly, the boys of the next generation are already showing a great amount of encouragement. So thank you so much. Thank you for this.
This experience so enriching. We have learned from each of you, and will continue to learn from each other. So we are going to go after you, ask for your bites, your videos, your blogs. We'll request all of you to become mentors, to be part of the networks, to help each other. We thank everyone at the US Consulate, at the American Center here for the wonderful support, and we have really bothered you. So thanks a lot. I'm not naming, and we thank the US Consulate to support this whole program. And all the few men in the room, hopefully you will take this message to the other men and give us clue on how to get more men here. So with this, we'll end. We have a feedback form, so please fill it up and give it.
Can we take a group picture when everyone's left from day 2?
Okay, so one last group picture. Okay. And we'd like our friends from the American Center to join also in the group picture.